Still, a 20-to-1 split is pretty insane. The market seems to love it. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny for a while. It feels like from the 2009 to up until recently, stock splits became a thing of the past. Then obviously Apple and Tesla announced their splits in 2020. Clearly, it was successful and it led to share price appreciation. So Alphabet's not stupid. Clearly, you could say it's more accessible to shareholders. But I think under the hood, this could also be more of a motivation to maybe become included in the Dow Industrial, which is obviously a price-weighted index. So that could be really the motivation behind the move. And then, I mean, who knows?
Do you think so? Okay, Joel, let's sorry to interrupt on you, my friend. Let's unpack that a little bit. Alphabet or Google, whatever you want to call it, never struck me as the kind of company, at least under Sergey and Larry, that cared about things like being in the Dow. They probably viewed it as actually kind of like a stain because that's the old school type companies. Do you think that Sundar Pichai thinks differently? Do you really believe they would like to be in the Dow Jones Industrial Average?
I think so. I mean, I think, like, again, if you're sitting there and maybe you have to answer to your board or obviously major shareholders, and you just look what Tim Cook or Elon Musk did just this recently, it clearly had a positive impact on the share price. It seems like it's a harmless step to take. I think times are a little bit different, and the environment's evolved a little bit over the last few years, where these tech companies are continuing to grow into these massive stock prices, massive market caps. I think it's an intelligent move. It's not, you're not reinventing a light bulb or anything like that, but it doesn't hurt anybody to do it, and it's going to benefit the share price. I think that's kind of the simple fact of it, and I think clearly.
Well, it seems. Yeah, but if you give me a $20 bill and I give you 21s, you're not any richer than you were. But for some reason, these splits make investors feel richer, right? Because now the stock is cheaper and more people can own it, and because $3,000 a share is a lot of money, I can buy like half a share. So what's the psychology around the split? Why does it seem to matter?
I think it's just human nature. It's kind of like, if what do you want? If you're in college, right? Back in the day, if you want a couple high-end bottles of beer, do you want to go get a 30-pack of Busch Light? Sometimes quantity's more. And I think shareholders, they'd rather be able to have 200 shares of Alphabet versus a 10. And I really do think it's that simple. Obviously, it'll improve liquidity as well, which obviously will help improve the investor and lead to more kind of attract a wider investor base as well. And so I think there's different elements where it's a harmless move, doesn't shift the fundamental narrative at all, and it's just kind of going to be a slight tailwind to the share price over the kind of medium term.
Yeah, and I know the split's getting all the attention, at least it is right now, because we're talking about it. But how about the actual results? I mean, I'm not sure you or anybody else saw these kind of numbers coming.
Yeah, I mean, the company's firing on all cylinders, and clearly it's coming from the core search business, and I think the acceleration looks extremely sustainable, especially given Alphabet's ad format is a lot more insulated from Apple's recent IDFA changes versus kind of some of the social media names, which are more reliant on direct response advertising. I mean, it was just a pretty much flawless print. I know YouTube was a slight miss. But again, YouTube's also still very well positioned to benefit from the fast-growing connected TV segment. So I think there's really nothing to pick at. And I view Google, Alphabet, and Microsoft as probably still the top two companies on planet Earth. They continue to benefit from the three, rare kind of traits, enormous scale, tremendous growth, and elevated margins. And really no other companies in the markets can say that. So I think the story continues to work, and it's not crazy expensive, and the re-rating will continue despite the stock tripling, I think, since January 1, 2019. There's definitely blue skies ahead.